Good morning. Well, it's a stunning start to the day, and as usual, I've got up far too early. There's an amazing dawn chorus at the moment, but it starts about 4:40. It's a great way to wake up. So I've come down. I've got another half an hour, 3/4 of an hour on the before I can get out on the tide, I reckon. So let's go on down. So this is my pontoon, down to Salcombe that way, and Kingsbridge at the head of the estuary that way. My boat over there somewhere. The mullet haven't quite started ringing yet, but they will be here very soon. Selection of boats on the pontoon. The Warriors are popular. And ribs. This one's interesting. Till the coast is clear. Local chap who has got a business collecting rubbish. It's amazing when he comes back. This is absolutely stacked full of rubbish that gets discarded. The estuary looks beautiful with a nice Warrior. Estuary looks beautiful, but yeah, it's amazing what gets in there. This one looking very sorry for itself and neglected. And there's mine. So the boat's prepped. It's had a wipe down to get rid of the dew. Just waiting for the tide. See you in a bit. Still waiting for the tide, but it's coming. Today's plan, haven't massively got one, to be honest. It's a beautiful start to the day, start of the bank holiday weekend, but it's forecast to get up to a fairly brisk easterly. It's still early morning at the moment. The east wind is due to come in about 10:30, 11, something like that. So the plan as it stands is I've just got some mackerel feathers on one rod, and that's it. We'll pop out. The mackerel area for me is about half a mile, 3/4 of a mile out. So if the wind hasn't got up by the time we get down there, we'll pop out there, see if there's some mackerel about. It'd be lovely to take something home for the bank holiday weekend, but if not the end of the world. So get out, see if there's some mackerel about, assess the situation there. If the wind doesn't pick up, then there's a possibility of going out to a reef and seeing what's about. If not, I've got some bait from Veterans Bait Supplies, and I'll come back into the river and have a scratch around and see if we can wheedle anything out. hope you enjoyed that little trip down the river. It appears that the forecast east wind for 11 o'clock is near at 8 o'clock. I'm just at the bar, so it might just be funneling down the estuary a little bit, so I'll stick my nose out, see if we can get to where the mackerel are, and if not, we might be seeing a bit more of the river today. We'll see what happens. Well, we're out here. The sea conditions are actually fine, it's just a bit windswept, but it's freezing cold. Really biting wind. So it'd be nice if we could just land upon a dozen mackerel, that would be great. If we could catch those in fairly short order and go back to somewhere warmer in the river, that'd be lovely. But it's nice to have something. A little pollock. Give up out here if this is what it's going to be like. Two little pollock on the mackerel feathers. Some mackerel in amongst them. I don't take my winter stuff off the boat until about August normally, and now I remember why. The snow's come back on. I have got a winter coat. It might be coming out. Look at this for a beautiful little bay. The water's crystal clear, tucked into the rocks here. It's actually quite warm, but yeah, it's very cold out to sea and just full of pollock. So I'll show you in a minute. I've got a new lure that I'm going to try from Lazy Lures. They're a local company in Plymouth. So I'll put those on, have a cast around here, see if there might be any bass around. Yeah, here's that lure. It's an Arctic Assassin, 20 grams, so it should be a nice weight for casting. And that's what it looks like. Pretty much a sand eel imitation. It's a nice shape though, so we'll give it a go. Looks good in the water. I've decided to go for a lazy tow along the coastline, so just got the rod on a light drag. with that lazy lure about 100 yards or so behind me. We're on the sheltered side of the bay here. Not that it feels like it with the wind coming down that valley behind me, but yeah, we'll soon be behind this headland here. That's the entrance to Salcombe straight ahead of us now. So I'll just comb my way along, see if anything fancies that lazy lure, and if I find somewhere along the way that's looks nice and sheltered and a bit fishy, we'll stop and drift along, or drop the anchor down and put a bit of bait down. This is an absolutely stunning bit of coastline. It's really nice. I've still got that lazy lure out the back, not really that hopeful. It's a lovely coastline, but it's so gusty today that it's just spilling over the top, and if I try and drift, it's going to be all over the place. If I try and drop the anchor down, it's just going to be swinging about. It's not going to be much fun, and it's still really cold. So I'm going to carry on with this for a little bit, and then just head back into the river, and we'll try something in the river. I'll bring you back then, unless there's any action on the lure. Well, it's not getting better out here, and I've just had a weather update from the local National Coast Watch station, which says it's force 7, which is not quite what the Met Office forecast. That's all behind us though. Salcombe's over there. See you in the river. Right, I finally found a spot in the river that's not absolutely blowing a gale. Don't know if there's anything here, never fished it before. It's just a slightly more pleasant spot. So I've just one of the pre-prepared baits from Veterans Bait Supplies. I've just cut that into 4 and baited up with mackerel feathers. So I'm going to stick those on over the side, just leave them. I'll sort out some other rigs, and I might just cast that lure around as well. We'll leave that for a minute and see if anything happens. Right, I'll prepare some other rigs. It's warming up. Right, so on this one I have got sliding boom, running ledger with some 15-pound fluorocarbon, 4 foot or so, onto a Cox and Roll Sea Beast. I think that's a 4.0, and another one of those pre-prepared baits. This one is squid and crab. I've just halved it into 2, and we'll slot that on. We're in about yeah, just 10.5 metres of water here, so you never know what might be lurking on the bottom. Send that down to sit right on the bottom. Just wait for a frenzy of clickers to go off. It's not a section of the river known for its bass, or certainly not that I know of. So I'm not really giving this lure a fair chance really, but in the absence of any fish action, I'll show you this. I've shown it a couple of times in other videos, but I haven't actually shown you it running. So my washdown pump, which is under there, is connected via the manifolds to 2 areas of bilge, or the one that's open there is onto this hose. That's got a strainer on the end, so that is in a 60 litre bucket of fresh water, and we've got freshwater washdown. So the boat got all salty going out to try for a mackerel with that east wind. It's now had I thought the rod was moving, it was just the boat swinging. So I've given the boat a washdown, and nothing's happened on the baited rods in that time, so I'm just going to bring them in. One of the reasons I don't like fishing in the river, one of the reasons I prefer being out to sea, is that in the river you've often got a lot of weed to contend with. So I'll pull these baited lines in. If they're full of weed, we'll try somewhere else. If they're nice and clean and they just have had no interest shown, then we'll stay a bit longer. Feels heavier than the 4-ounce lead that's on the end. There's the lead, it needs a clean up. And there's the baited hook. So you're not catching anything with that. We'll move on. This is just, oh, heron flying by. Probably didn't see that on camera. Anyway, this is just another pretty little sheltered bay. One of our favourite areas for a picnic spot. You also see a few school bass around here, so we'll have a little cast around, and I'm just going to go a little bit closer to the shore and have a little cast around and see if there are any schoolies around. Well, luckily I have a very astute wife who has bought lots of lovely food without the need for fish this bank holiday weekend. So that's the way it goes sometimes. A lot windier than I expected, and the river provided exactly what I expected. So yeah, lots of pollock out to sea. I think I must have had 10 or 12 pollock, something like that, and I've untangled weed from various rigs and feathers and lures more times than I needed to. So I've poured myself a mug of coffee. I'm going to have a slow cruise up the river. I still publish these videos because that's fishing. It's still been a lovely day out. I hope you've enjoyed the scenery. The boat's coming out of the water this weekend, so I've got some quite exciting news. So it might be a little while before the next video comes on, but I'll tell you all about it then. Thanks for watching, and see you very soon. Cheers.